okay, so go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, it's just nice to know that I would look like a doofus asking for directions someplace I've not been to without having to go there and make a butt of myself. What a
I,
refreshing exercise that was.
I feel like I don't have to go somewhere else to look like a doofus to ask for
Oh
directions.
yeah,
It's
we're
gonna be
content
that.
creators. We look like a doofus wherever we go.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta interact with a person who you don't know and feel like instructions, please. And they might not want to give you instructions, or they might want to give you instructions, but they don't know, so they're helping.
I saw a lot of people get. They asked. It was on QI, I think it was actually, where they were saying, "How do you pronounce the name of this Canadian province?" And they put up Newfoundland on screen, and even said they gave the name, and every one of them was like Newfoundland, Newfoundland, and they're like, yeah, it's Newfoundland, and I don't know if it's, I don't know, yeah, I don't know if it was like, yeah, the klaxon goes off, but I was like, I don't know if it was, I think it was Stephen Fry sitting behind the thing, and he was like, no, it isn't, and they were shocked.
Yeah, but that's a difference of like emphasizing a different syllable. It's not writing a different word as a joke.
Yeah,
It's like it's kind of the best way to try to learn how to say it. You just speed it up a little bit.
yeah, but it was funny to me that I'm like, you have so many confusingly pronounced place names, and then you're like, why wouldn't it be Newfoundland? And I'm like,
Why isn't it pronounced as written?
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. Why don't you pass the Worcestershire sauce and we'll talk it over?
yeah.
The war sauce? Yeah.
So people, I saw somebody post in thread also that they're like, their favorite Canadian place name they saw was Sycamoose, which is great. And we drive through Sycamoose every year.
Stop for ice cream, yeah.
Well, we would drive through it because we had to get to Penticton. So, you know, that we weren't allowed to do that. Kamloops is a great name as well. But just
Or camel poops, as the locals call it.
just right near Sycamoose, and therefore Lake Sycamoose, is a much more, I think it's a funnier name for a town. It's Salmon Arm.
Oh yeah.
I've been to the Salmon Arm.
Yeah, we've driven through there.
Yeah, I've driven through
But
there. I
like,
think it stopped
Salmon
there.
Arm in contrast to Moose Jaw is not that out there.
But you are constructing a weird kind of animal.
Yeah, it's a salmon with arms.
Yeah, and a moose jaw.
Can I just take a second to point out that there's 6 minutes left on the Ikoria complete foil set, so you need to get 1170 in if you want to get in on that, and you'll need a donor account, and 6 minutes will give you plenty of time to do all those things if you have to.
And we're about 1,200 away from being able to crest 330,000 for the shift, which would feel really good to close out. Excuse me, at 330. So if you have friends who play Magic, maybe you want to try to win this as a prize for them, or maybe you want to just get a hold of them and say, hey, you know what? They're going to give an entire complete foil set away of a thing. $11.70 is your chance to do it.
What's the deal with Medicine Hat?
Okay.
Like in
I will be glad to tell you.
what way?
It just seems an odd name for a place.
It is a very
Was
odd
there
name
a
for
hat
place.
that doled out healing powers? Like
So-
a sorting hat, but for medicine?
The name derives from the word Samus, S-A-A-M-I-S, as we would spell it with English characters. Samus refers to the shaman's hat, their headpiece.
Yeah.
And so one of the stories told is that a brave got mislaid on. That's because the name that they use is they say a brave. So it's like a brave got mislaid on a journey, and ended up somewhere near where Medicine Hat was. Fell in with a tribe there. I'm gonna screw this all up. It was welcomed in and was granted, you get to be a shaman. And then there was a war, and the shaman lost his headdress in the South Saskatchewan River, which of course wouldn't have been called that at that time, and it eventually floated away and landed on the banks of where they eventually founded Medicine Hat. And I might have put 3 different legends together because I've been told so many different things about how this works. as a young child.
Hmm.
And so that's how that happened. And it's like, oh, we have found a medicine man's hat on the banks of the river. This is we, being the Northwest Mounted Police, have discovered a medicine man hats on the banks of the river. We will refer to this area as being the whatever medicine man's hat and just shorten it to medicine hat.
That is a much more literal definition of a medicine hat than I was expecting. I don't know why. I figured it would like maybe in French it's actually a lot prettier sounding, but no,
Yeah.
it's the hat of someone who practices medicine.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, like naming a town Tumbleweed because you found a tumbleweed there.
Or Dawson Creek, because I actually don't know why, because I don't even think there's a creek in Dawson Creek that is known as Dawson Creek. It just was called Dawson Creek.
Yeah, I think there's like the Peace River or Beaton goes near there, but that's it.
Yeah, that kind of
So-
makes sense. You would call Peace River, because it's where the Peace River flows. I don't know why they call it Dildo, Newfoundland.
That's where the
Well, so-
dildo flows.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you find a dildo washed up on the river and go, this is the name of our settlement now.
This came out of Spread Eagle Bay. It did.
Same with a moose jaw. Just well, this town ain't gonna name itself. Thanks, bunch of moose teeth.
Yeah, a lot of the place names are like amalgamations of local names or names of explorers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or in some cases, if they're on the Alaska Highway, then the distance they are from the start of the highway,
That's right.
which is in Dawson Creek.
But yeah, like a lot of the names of cities in Canada that sound odd to English speakers are usually indigenous words.
Yeah.
Isn't there a place in Canada where feet wash up? That's here.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
the Salish Sea.
and it's generally assumed that those are people who fell overboard on ships, and the reason the feet survive is that they are tied up in like Nikes, right? Which scavengers can't easily get to.
And I think, like, isn't it also that the foam in the shoe tends to float? So
Yeah.
It's, I know it's super weird, yes, but feet in sneakers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a Wikipedia article about it.
Yeah. No need to, like, I guess, dwell on it or read the Wikipedia article on.
Maybe not tonight.
Maybe not
Yeah.
tonight, no.
I wasn't suggesting we do it. I was telling the chat that if they were curious,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they could look it up.
They can satisfy their own curiosity in that one.
All
Yeah,
right,
no-
I'll close the tab.
Yeah, here, you know, nobody here likes that happens, but it sure happens.
And there's a practical explanation. That's the most comforting thing. It's not we don't know why feet
Yeah.
wash up. It's just
Well, we
here's
don't
the-
actually know why.
We,
Which,
Yeah, but-
yes.
we
There's
have
still a
a-
reasonable explanation, and not like there's the Kraken stealing people's feet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or like I guess the folk legend was that somebody was cutting off feet and then throwing them into the water for some reason. Yes, but yeah.
Yeah, there was like another theory that was like bridge jumpers in Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
It's all
just heard that
unpleasant
it was.
because it's clearly a human's foot, and that person is probably dead.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not with a foot at the very least.
Sorry, just
How did we get here, fam?
just seeing the lower third pop up again, being like, places have weird names, eh? Places have weird names, eh?
They do. There's some strange names.
Yeah, like Toronto.
Oh.
I think you mean Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto.
Piranha.
Toronto.
Yeah, wasn't that how you could tell that Fallout 4 hadn't been written by anyone who had ever been to Toronto? Because
Toronto.
Toronto. Because the city built on the ruins of Toronto was called Ronto.
Yeah.
Not
It's like,
With an apostrophe.
Not
whereas
Toronto.
whereas if it had been rebuilt by locals who then had to like write down the name anew, it would be Trona.
yeah. Tranna, maybe?
Yeah.
Trana. Maybe Tronna. Trana. Like trauma. Or trauma films.
Hmm.
Mm.
What's the I see somebody mention Australia, so I wonder if we still have Australians in the chat. What's the actual name of Ayers Rock? Because that's the big one in Australia, right? Ayers Rock has an actual
Uluru.
name.
Uluru, yeah.
Uluru. Oh, I love that. Oh, every time I hear it,
It almost sounds like ooh, but like
Yeah.
ooh.
I get a little shiver every time. Uluru. I love that. Yes, I know the only name of Uluru is Uluru, but there was another place. Calgary.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mentioned
Calgary,
that when I was making fun of
Saskatchewan.
things.
Yes.
Calgary or Calgary.
Yeah.
Oh man, the one that gets me is Chetwynd. Because Kathleen's lived there, and she
Yes.
keeps pronouncing the D.
Chetwynd.
It's like, you lived there. It's Chetwynd.
Yeah. People just give up, right?
Hmm.
Now there is in Alberta. There's a place called Sexsmith, which is fully pronounced that way.
Yep,
Nobody
Near
ever.
Grand Prairie.
spelt that way and
Yeah.
it's said that way.
Yeah. And it's the kind of thing where when I saw it, I was like, surely there's a local pronunciation of that you would have people who just like
No?
but it's not. It's Sexsmith, Alberta. It's
There's-
like, okay.
There's stories I've heard of people who try to apply for things, and people who've never heard of the name of that, and they think they're messing with them.
Yeah.
So they discount those as fake applications for stuff.
Oh yeah, and there's Balzac.
Balzac, Alberta, yeah.
Oh,
Corey,
and I
have you-
love
Named after
Byzantin.
Honoré de
Yeah.
Balzac.
Byzantin's
Yeah.
fun.
Corey,
Byzantin.
have you been to Boring, Oregon? Was that
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I have.
I don't know anybody else that has actually been to Boring. I just know people that have gotten off at the side of the road to take a picture with the sign and then drive away.
Hmm.
Well, we got like 15 minutes left, and we get to ride this sucker out, all of
Yeah.
us together, which is kind of
Yeah, I
nice.
hear Corey gets to stay with us for the whole time today.
Yes.
Yes.
I
This is
couldn't
normally the-
reply to that message because I'm driving.
All right.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you're driving? We still have the icon.
Yeah, that
up.
happens sometimes where the
Okay.
icon won't, I think, quite change over.
Did you think you were driving, Beach?
No. This entire time I was like,
Yeah. I mean, I was driving for a while, and then I had Beach help me driving if I didn't get him to take over because just the angle I was holding the keyboard at was not fun for my wrist. And I need that for things.
To hold your hands.
For things. Things I'm working on.
all right, Vulcan, Alberta.
Yeah, the place that has
Good Wi-Fi.
that celebration once a year or something, and they serve pancakes.
They
of
have
Star
a
Trek.
replica space shuttle for taking people to the event.
Like a shuttlecraft, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm glad that they have a thing to hang their hat on. Because I don't really,
I mean, I assume they were named after the Roman god of the forge.
Yeah, definitely. It's been around long enough that was the case. God, I'm just trying to think of other places in. It's been fun in Alberta when Canmore and Camrose always used to screw me up.
Yep.
And they are not in the same area. They're nowhere near
No.
each other. And to be like, I'm going out to Camrose, you'd have to, from where we used to live, would be hours of driving versus only not many hours of driving. And learning the difference of where these two things were was very important. But, God, I've been I drove around a lot of rural Alberta for one job that I had.